We are going to switch gears. Not so much switch total gears, but we're going to bring on a new guest, and we are very, very grateful. Governor Jeb Bush, former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, obviously 2016 Republican presidential candidate, has come to join us. I have spent some time with Governor Bush regarding his, what I think are very good pro-growth economic, tax, and regulatory plans in recent weeks. First of all, Governor, thank you. And
you bet, Larry.
And second of all, I didn't know if you heard any of the back end of the Jack Keane testimony, but I want to talk to you about the economy, but I just want to get your take. I mean, we are giving the store away to Russia and Iran in the Middle East. That is General Keene's perspective, and I wonder what is yours.
I totally agree with him, and I really respect his opinion and his experience, and have sought his counsel out because he's just a great, incisive thinker, grounded in reality. We have a president right now that believes that mullahs go quietly into the night, that unilaterally conceding everything to them will change their ways. And all you have to do is look at what the Ayatollah said shortly after the agreement was signed. I think it was last week, where he said, look, we're no longer going to talk to the United States. We've got what we need. We're now going to carry out our agenda. And they have continued to be the largest sponsor of terrorism in the world. And 2 days after the agreement was announced, the head of the Quds forces, Soleimani, goes to Russia. Now we see that the strategy was talked about and unveiled, and we've been caught completely flat-footed. And this is an effort to prop up one of the most brutal regimes in the world that kills innocent people, that slaughters Christians, that has created total chaos that now the world will have to contend with literally 1 million people on the run because they cannot stay in their homeland.
Just one more, Governor, on this point, then I want to switch to your pro-growth economic plans. General Keane says in his testimony to the Armed Services Committee this week, Putin has begun a proxy war with the U.S. when Russian combat aircraft struck continuously moderate rebel forces trained by our CIA. In other words, they're propping up Assad. They don't care about ISIS. They sure don't care about our allies. What General Keane calls for is U.S. military should have been given the mission to retaliate. Would a President Jeb Bush retaliate?
Absolutely, and I think we need to have a strategy. I mean, the United States does well when we lead the world. We look weak and vacillating, and we create chaos when we don't. This president has admitted he doesn't have a strategy to deal with ISIS, and he certainly has not been eager to have one with Assad. And the strategy would be to create a no-fly zone, to create safe zones, to get the Arab countries that are supporting elements of fighters against both ISIS and Assad to unify, to have one force that we would support, and to get the lawyers off the backs of the fighting forces that we do have, so that we can take action. And I think that's what Russia respects. Ultimately, there's going to be a political settlement in Syria that should lead to the departure of Assad and a new government that would be moderate, that would not embrace radical Shia or radical Sunni Islamic tendencies. And by our inaction, we're making that harder and harder.
Let me switch gears, sir. Again, folks, we're talking to former Florida Governor Jeb Bush. I don't know, you, me, Glenn Hubbard, Kevin Warsh, maybe one or two others in the country believe with the right policies we could have 4% growth, at least for another 5 or 10 years. You've outlined a very pro-growth tax reform plan. More recently, you've outlined very good across-the-board regulatory relief plan, I'm going to call it. The United States is 46th in the world in terms of starting up new businesses, and we've had almost $2 trillion of regulatory taxes in recent years. Quickly, sir, what's your take on this? What happened? We forgot about regulations.
No, this has been a problem for a long while, and it's been made worse by the hyperactivity of the Obama administration that abandoned democracy and effectively has tried through rulemaking, some of which is constitutional, some of which probably isn't, to try to redefine our country, and it has created huge hardship. This recovery has had the most anemic capital investing in modern history, It is the uncertainty of our regulations combined with the complexity and high, the high tax rates for corporations and businesses in general that has created this. We need a regulatory budget. We need to put an economic impact on every rule. We should create in effect, no increase in regulatory costs. Every dollar of new regulation, there needs to be a dollar that is reduced. We need a total commitment to a spring cleaning so that we can stop just putting rules on top of rules, that we ought to abandon rules that are no longer relevant. I believe we should shift power back to the states wherever possible, both in terms of programs as well as regulations. And if we did this, we would unleash the animal spirits in this country. I mean, we could grow at 4%. If you repealed Obamacare and replaced it with a 21st century health insurance system that was lower cost, more portable, more dynamic, and you fix the regulations and tax situation in this country and embrace the energy revolution in our country, man, I mean, we would be growing at a rate that would lift people's spirits. We would be more excited about what the future looks like, even if we couldn't define it. Now, we're losing our dynamic nature and being told to get in line, and we have to reject this out of hand before it's too late.
Just last one, Governor. I'm sorry we're a little short of time. I got 25 seconds. The CNBC debate is coming up. It's going to all be about the economy and finance. You're going to be ready with the Bush growth plan? Get your polls back up. You ready for the CNBC debate, sir?
I'm ready to rumble.
I know you are. Okay. Thank you for giving us your time. We appreciate it. Governor Jeb Bush, and I'm Kudlow, and we will be coming right back with much more on today's show.